The stars stretched endlessly outside the viewport, silver threads across the velvet darkness of space. The outpost's lights flickered weakly, a tired heartbeat in the middle of nowhere. Captain Elias Kane leaned against the railing, his eyes fixed not on the void, but on the figure standing quietly at the far end of the corridor. She wore it again. The mask. Always the mask. Smooth, metallic, featureless, covering her face from forehead to jawline, only her eyes, bright, liquid silver, visible through thin slits. He had seen her fight, bleed, laugh even, but never without it. Not once in the years since he had taken her under his protection. Tonight, the silence pressed heavier than usual, and the question slipped from him before he could stop it. "Tell me something," Elias said softly, stepping closer. "Why do you always wear the mask?" The woman stiffened. Her hand rose instinctively, fingertips brushing the edge of the metal plate, as though checking it was still there. For a moment he thought she wouldn't answer. But then, in a voice barely louder than a whisper, she said the words that cut through his heart like a blade, "Because if you saw what was underneath, you'd stop protecting me." Elias didn't reply immediately. His throat had tightened, words choking themselves off. He wanted to tell her she was wrong, that nothing, no scar, no deformity, could change how fiercely he had guarded her since the day they met. But the way she said it, the quiet certainty, as though it wasn't a fear but a truth she already believed, it silenced him. Her name was Lyra. Or at least, that's what she allowed him to call her. Elias had found her years ago on a battlefield that had no victors, only corpses. She had been half-buried under the rubble of a shattered crawler tank, her body mangled, her mask already fused to her skin with surgical clamps and emergency sealants. The medics had wanted to leave her. Alien, unknown, maybe even hostile. But Elias had lifted her himself, ignoring their protests, carrying her across the mud to the evac ship. From that day on, she stayed at his side. She was quick with a blade, silent as shadow, loyal in a way few soldiers ever were. And yet, the mask never left her face. At first, Elias had assumed it was cultural, a tradition, a religious symbol, maybe. But as months turned into years, the mask became something else. A wall. A secret he wasn't meant to cross. Until tonight. Until that whispered confession. The next days passed with an uneasy quiet. Lyra said little, and Elias respected her silence, though her words haunted him. The crew had their own theories. Some whispered she was a spy, hiding her alien features behind the mask. Others claimed she was horribly disfigured, a reminder of whatever war-torn planet she came from. One drunk even muttered that maybe she wasn't even alive beneath that metal, that maybe Elias protected a ghost or machine. Elias shut him up with a single glare. But when he lay in his quarters at night, staring at the cracked ceiling of the outpost, the doubts gnawed at him. Why did she think he would abandon her if she removed it? What truth was so terrible that she would rather live in hiding than risk his reaction? He wanted to believe there was nothing that could sever the bond they had built. But some part of him feared what she feared. The question of the mask might have lingered forever in silence, but fate had other plans. The outpost came under attack. A raiding fleet, scavenger mercenaries with more guns than sense, descended from the void with fire in their engines and greed in their eyes. The walls shook with the first barrage. Sirens wailed, boots thundered, and Elias snapped into command mode. Positions. Get those cannons online. Move, move. Lyra was already there, blades drawn, mask gleaming in the emergency lights. She moved like smoke, cutting through enemies with inhuman precision. But in the chaos, Elias noticed something strange. The raiders weren't just shooting at random. They were looking for her. "Bring us the masked one," a raider captain shouted across the comms. "Alive if possible, she belongs to the Queen." Elias's blood ran cold. The Queen? Alien royalty. Lyra had never spoken of her past, but this changed everything. They fought side by side through the burning halls, and only when the smoke cleared did Elias finally corner her. "Belongs to the Queen," he demanded, grabbing her arm. "What does that mean, Lyra?" Her silver eyes flashed behind the mask. For once, she looked cornered, trapped between her vow of silence and the man who refused to stop protecting her. "I told you," she whispered again. "If you knew what was under this mask, you wouldn't." "Don't," Elias snapped. "Don't tell me what I would or wouldn't do. Tell me the truth." Lyra's hands trembled. For the first time in years, her composure shattered. She reached up, fingers hovering at the edge of the mask. Then she froze. Another explosion shook the outpost. The decision was ripped from her. The force threw them both against the wall, and Elias caught her before she fell. The mask cracked. A fracture split down the side, revealing the barest glimpse of the face beneath. Elias's breath caught. Not scars. Not burns. Something else entirely. Her skin beneath the mask shimmered like liquid metal, smooth and shifting, almost alive. Patterns rippled across it, glowing faintly, like circuitry carved into flesh. She wasn't disfigured. She wasn't scarred. She was something else. Something inhuman. Lyra saw the shock in his eyes and tried to turn away. "Now you see," she whispered bitterly. "Now you know why I hid it. I'm not what you thought I was. I was built, Captain. Forged. The Queen's weapon. Not a woman worth protecting." Elias gripped her shoulders. "Built or born, I don't care. You bled for us. You fought for us. You stood by my side when no one else would. Don't you dare tell me you're not worth it." Her voice cracked. "But if you saw me fully, if the mask came off, you'd see a monster." Elias shook his head. "I already see you. And you're not a monster. You're Lyra." The battle raged on, but something had shifted. Lyra fought with new fury, mask half broken, identity half revealed. The raiders wanted her alive, but Elias made sure they only got corpses. Together they pushed them back until the outpost was silent again. When it was over, Lyra stood in the ruined hall, her mask hanging in pieces. She looked at him, raw and unguarded, fear etched into every line of her strange, shifting face. "So," she whispered, "will you still protect me, now that you know?" Elias didn't answer with words. He simply stepped forward, lifted what remained of the mask, and let it fall to the ground. "I don't protect masks," he said softly. "I protect people. And I protect you." For the first time in years, Lyra's lips curved, not hidden, not masked, but real. A smile. Fragile, trembling, but real. Later, when the fires were out and the bodies cleared, Elias sat beside her on the edge of the hangar bay. She leaned against him, unmasked now, silver eyes reflecting the starlight. "You asked me once why I wore it," she murmured. "The truth is, I was afraid. Afraid you'd see me as they see me. As a weapon. As property. As something less than alive." Elias put an arm around her shoulders. "Then hear this, Lyra. You're not less. You're more. And as long as I breathe, you'll never have to hide again." Her head rested against him, and for the first time, the whisper held no fear, only quiet relief. "Then I don't need the mask anymore."